Yeah, there's a TV truck. One of the trucks with a dish on top, right behind the backstop. 2 trucks, actually. 2 Boston stations. God, I really don't see why it has to be like this. That poor kid.
Can you believe this? Those people? You gotta be a special kind of idiot.
Sounds like my cue. Good.
I should go.
Good
Mark.
what?
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on him.
What's good about it?
Good they're doing the protest.
I'm surprised you're not out there participating.
Those picket signs are way too heavy. I'll just watch and enjoy.
Last game.
Thank Christ.
He's praying, Jesus.
Oh my god.
Her too.
What? Look. Oh, she let her hair down.
Who?
Michaela,
Oh, Jesus, not a good idea.
10 to 1 it was his mother made him do what I meant.
her mother.
Whoever's mother. She's been pushing that kid right from the start. Loved the whole thing. Loving it now.
I heard that
I
too.
mean, she kept her hair pulled up under her hat all summer long, so now with the TV here, she's
It's
got
his
it.
mother, I'm telling you.
Oh, there she is.
Who?
The mother of the transistoring kid. Talking to the TV.
Does anybody know her?
Not me. I mean, I know who she is, like I know who everybody is, but I never, met her. I hear she's a bitch.
Takes one to know one.
Bet your ass.
Oh, Polly's warming up.
Oh, no, really?
Yes, really. They're in last place. They gotta put him in. Who else they gonna get to pitch?
Well, I should go down there.
Down there and what?
Get Joe to make him play first.
Stay where you are. Let him pitch on the TV. Hey, maybe a scout will be watching.
I don't know.
What are you afraid he'll play him more A's than you? Sit down. Let him pitch.
Where's Dale?
Probably getting pregnant somewhere. She still doesn't have a kid named Myron.
In the beginning of the summer, nobody really made a big deal out of it. Out of Michaela. It just seemed like it was becoming such a normal thing that even the people in this town didn't have any interest in a transitioning boy playing in the Little League. Wait, no. Transitioning girl. Yes, that's accurate. Transitioning girl. Anyway, one of the more conservative groups over at St. Benedict's made a little noise. Went to a city council meeting downtown to make a stink, but it barely created a ripple. Then, somebody sent a letter to the editor of The Sun, the local paper, and that began to stir things up.
Dear editor, it has come to our attention that one of the local Little League teams is encouraging a perversion that our kids do not need to be exposed to. And then she goes on. Well, I say she because, well, I don't know why. I just think it's a she. Guys who get upset about stuff like this, they don't write things down. They just go and make noise in a barroom or something. Anyway, she goes on to say Michaela, except she kept calling her Michael. She says that she shouldn't be allowed to play with the boys because the boys aren't mature enough to handle the situation. And at the end of the article, what does she say? If Michael wants to be gay, just let him stay home and be gay. Nobody cares about that. Just don't bring your perversion to our Little League.
So then everything went to shit. It was as if the town was covered by a huge rock and somebody lifted up the rock and all the creepy crazies slunk out from under it. I mean, there are legitimate reasons to question stuff like this. Like Michaela, she's only 12 years old, and it's a big thing doing that, you know. But the creepy crazies. All I'm saying is that they don't help the situation.
Where you been?
I almost didn't come, but Merle made me bring him.
What's the matter?
Tell her what's the matter.
I can understand not wanting to be here today.
Friggin' zoo, friggin' freak show.
She's not a freak.
Not her. Them. The complainers.
Protesters.
They're too stupid to be protesters. Why aren't you down there with them?
How come everybody asks me that?
Because you're an intolerant asshole.
Yeah? Well, why does everybody ask me that?
It's hot.
It's alive.
Is asshole better or worse than ass ache?
What do they hope to accomplish?
Who?
Them.
They want to get on TV.
That's it.
Ain't that enough?
That poor kid.
Hey, that poor kid don't have to flash his flowing locks all over the infield.
Watch your pronouns, for Christ's sake.
Excuse me. That poor kid don't have to flash their flowing locks all over the field.
I think Michaela goes with she.
Yeah, well, I'm not going there. I'll go to there, but not to she. Not for him. Them. Jesus Christ.
How do people even talk anymore? I'm thinking of stopping altogether.
Promises, promises.
Burt Bacharach.
Right. I did that in college. It's a good show. Turkey
Turkey time.
See? Might as well be talking Swahili.
Oh, look, there's what's-a-face from Channel 4.
From Boston?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, maybe we should sit closer. We'll be on the news.
No.
Why? You ashamed of me?
Oh, no, nothing like that, Ma. I'm not wearing any cologne.
I can't smell you on TV.
They can smell you in Denver.
That's beneath you, Chrissy.
No, it ain't.
No, it ain't.
Dale, can you answer Tessa's question? What do they hope to accomplish?
The TV people?
The protesters.
They just want to make a big stink for the TV people and get on TV.
I mean, I've only just begun to look into gender dysphoria, kids especially. I mean, I'll have to advise on it, so I'm looking into it, but transitioning is real. It's here. It is a part of life. It's accepted.
Now.
Oh, yes, now. Why can't they understand that?
Are you for real?
I'm as real as it gets.
All the people don't accept it.
Damn right.
Some people, like Frankie and me, think it's against God.
If there is one, he's against it.
Leave me out of it, Ma.
What? You think God went to all the trouble to make men and ladies just so we could mess it up with this transistor in there?
That word's not funny anymore, Ma. You know what the word is.
Answer my question. You think God likes all of this?
I don't think God thinks about this.
You think God thinks about this?
I don't think about God anymore.
Good for you. Just make sure you leave wiggle room in case there is.
You don't think about God?
I think there's too much bad stuff going on down here for me to think that anything up there gives a shit about any of us.
Hey you, Tess from the Hootervilles. What about you? You think God thinks about little boys changing into little girls?
Well, if you really want to know,
I really want to know.
I'm a non-believer.
No shit.
No shit.
Full throttle, like you don't believe in him at all.
No.
Prescott Street, huh? Where does he go to school?
Who?
Your kid, Philip.
Patrick?
So, where?
St. Benedict's.
Aha!
We wanted him to go to a private school and it's closest to our house.
I bet they make your kids take religion class at St. Benedict's.
They do. And I tell them to listen to what the teacher has to say and make up their own mind about it.
That's a little risky with kids.
My kids are smart.
Yeah, I told Thomas he better believe in God or I'll beat the shit out of him. But with me, it's different, but there's no way I'm taking that chance with him. If there is a heaven, he's getting in.
Hey, no medication there. There's no way you believe in God. Smart ones like you think they're so smart, they ain't got no room for God in their brains. That's you.
No, I believe in God.
You do.
Fervently.
Oh, well, good for you.
But how could you?
How could I what?
How can you advise your patients about serious problems and life decisions
If I believe in a power greater than myself,
Yes.
it's very easy. If I see that putting God into the equation with the patient helps, I do. If I see that it's inappropriate, I don't. It's very simple.
Okay, good. You can answer my question then. You think God thinks about all of this?
I think God has already thought about all of this and everything, and it's up to us to decide what He thinks about it, and then think about it for ourselves, and then react accordingly.
So he thought about it.
Absolutely,
And he let it happen.
it happened.
You said he let it happen.
No, I didn't say that. I said it happened. God thinking about it has nothing to do with it.
Swahili. It's all Swahili.
The game's starting.
Look at Miss Channel 4 sitting on the bench next to Michaela. So she can concentrate on the game with her sitting right there.
I don't think anyone's concentrating on the game today.
I don't see why not. It's just like any other game.
Oh, no, it ain't.
No, it ain't.
So they let Paulie pitch throughout the season. Joe did. And he did okay. No, better than I thought he would. He really seemed to have control. Just give me a second. Yeah, he did good. I mean, his team lost most of their games, but it wasn't because of his pitching. So I was wrong about whether he could do it or not. He had control with the pitching.
There were, I don't know, maybe 4 fights throughout the course of the summer. You know, a kid would slide hard into another kid and there'd be a skirmish and the umps would break it up. Or the catcher would say a smart-ass thing to the batter and they'd go at it for about 4 seconds. But about the 6th game in, there was a pretty big brawl. He was involved, Paulie. He hit a triple, and the third baseman on the other team called him a faggot. Well, you want everything, right? The kid called Paulie a faggot. I didn't even know that was a word anymore. I mean, when I was a kid, kids were always calling each other faggots, but then the word went away. But I guess it survived behind closed doors, and this third baseman said it to Paulie. And Paulie didn't even think about the game or what was happening. He just stepped off the third base and went for the kid's throat. I mean, right for the throat. And even when they tried to get him off the kid, they couldn't do it. He wouldn't let go. Finally, Frankie ran onto the field and stopped it, and the third baseman's dad ran onto the field too and started swinging at Frankie. Frankie's a pretty big guy, you know, so he just dragged the dad off the field, pinned him up against a car, and talked him off a ledge. The whole thing was pretty ugly. What's funny about the whole thing is nothing happened to Paulie. Everyone seemed to think that what he did was justified. He was pitching that game, and the next inning he just went back to the mound and kept on pitching. When the third baseman got up to bat, everybody was on the edge of their seats just praying nothing bad would happen. Well, the kid struck out on 3 pitches, so that was bad for him. But nothing else. It was like the fight never happened. No repercussions. It was over, and that was it. Sometimes I wonder about this town.
Yeah, the faggot thing. He had an idea about what the word meant. He'd be over on the back porch, like I was talking about. I should have talked to him about it. I should have brought it up. I didn't. But I should have.
If you're gonna call my Paulie a faggot, you're gonna pay the price. That's what Antonio taught him. Yeah, he said, you insult me, you pay the price. He taught that to Paulie. Paulie's not a faggot. No way, Jose.
Oh, absolutely, I remember that fight. It was awesome. I mean, it was a fight without punching. All it was choking, like strangling. If Frankie's not there that day, that other kid, the faggot calling kid, is dead right now, and Paulie's in juvie. Oh, no. I had never seen anything like it. Paulie's face that day when that kid called him a faggot. I mean, it's just a word, right? Don't mean nothing, right? It's just a word. Who cares about freaking words? When does he bat?
Who?
Mikey.
She.
Okay, they. When does they bat?
Probably last. Girls always bat last, don't they?
A few times when they played this year, she hit 7th.
Didn't hit against Paulie.
Is he a full girl yet?
Oh, please.
What? I'm just asking. I mean, he has his hair all down. Does that make it official? Is he a girl all the way now?
There's more to it than that.
So you're telling me he's wearing a
Of what?
cup, thing protector. They make the boys wear cups. It's a rule. If he's still kind of one, doesn't he have to?
I never thought of that.
It was in the email.
I know, I never thought of it in terms of her.
So, cup or not cup? Boy or girl?
They call it a cup.
Yeah, what else would you call it?
The jewel box.
She wouldn't need one at short. She plays short.
I don't know, a bad bounce?
Yeah, I still can't believe he plays shot.
Yes, she has a really strong arm.
Jesus, the boy part of him must be a pretty good player.
The boy part of him.
Yeah, the part of him that's still a boy.
It doesn't work that way.
No?
No.
What, you thought every few days a few more inches ever turn from boy to girl?
Well, how the hell do I know how it works? I'm still trying to figure out my remote.
She's on deck.
What?
She's up next, batting third.
What?
Damn, he must be getting really good.
What she was poised. I think. She was either poised or scared. God, this kid had all this chaos around her. All those irritating adults with their picket signs and air horns and noise because of the thing in the paper. And she just went ahead, getting ready to play the game as if nothing was going on. At least that's the way she looked.
You know, I never told anybody this, but I was watching Mark before it happened. He was sitting on the bench, as usual, at the beginning of the game, and he never got in until near the end, all the time. And his eyes were pinned on Polly the whole time. Never once took his eyes off of him. So he knew something. He did.
I've been kicking myself. I don't know if I want to talk about this or not, but, well, things are going on around the house, you know? And sometimes you pay attention and sometimes you don't. And sometimes when you don't pay attention, something happens. And you should have paid attention.
Whoa, nice rim.
How did that kid do that? Polly throwing gas.
Yeah, I bet he gets his gas from you.
Yeah, he's not concentrating.
He will now.
Here she comes.
You're saying she now?
Yeah, I got tired of being corrected. You wore me down.
I bet Polly goes easy on her because she's almost a girl now.
Yeah, I hope so.
Why do you hope so?
I just do.
Well, I don't. She wants to play with the boys. They can treat her like a boy.
Oh, look at this.
What?
The TV people.
Jesus.
Couldn't they have at least stayed off the playing field?
This Channel 4's gonna love this.
Dear God, where are the cops?
Yeah, who? Where are the cops?
Shut up, Prissy.
Here we go.
Remember what I told you, Polly?
What?
Shh. Remember what Grandpa said?
He threw the first pitch inside, high and inside. Michaela dropped her bat and dropped to the ground, almost like she was expecting it.
The horns, Jesus. The cameras were clicking like crazy and the horns were blaring after that first pitch. I looked to where Michaela's mother was in the stands on the other side of the field and she was hollering something at the kid, but I couldn't hear her. The horns, my God. The father wasn't there.
She jumped right back up and she looked over to her mother and the mother pointed at her like this and just held it there like this, pointing at Michaela. Michaela dropped her head, picked her bat up off the ground, and the umpire, just one of the dads, you know, he immediately called time and called both coaches to the field.
That was Bernie Tebow. He's a really good guy. Pretty decent ump. He was just trying to put a stop to it, to the bullshit. I figured that's what my mother meant when she yelled out to Polly to remember what his grandpa said. You know, man up. Be a man. Just play the game. But then she said it again.
Attaboy, Polly boy! Remember now! Remember!
Bernie said something to the coaches, and that didn't take long. The coach of Michaela's team went back to the bench, and Joe went to go talk to Polly.
And you know, we really felt then that it was over, that the first pitch, the one that almost hit Michaela, was what the mob was looking for. It happened, and it was over. That's what everybody thought.
Remember, Polly boy!
Leave him alone, Ma.
The other thing I remember about about that moment. Sorry. The other thing I remember about that moment was I told you I was looking at Mark and he was looking at Polly, right? I told you that. So when Joe came back into the dugout after talking to Polly, I saw Mark run up to him and say something to him, to Joe. Trying to say something to him. Joe just walked away. Fucking Joe.
He threw the next pitch behind her head.
You can't do that. That's worse than throwing it at the head. Because you see the pitch coming and your instinct is to step back out of the way. But you step back right into the pitch. Headhunters know this. Pitchers who are headhunters know this. Paulie knew this.
It was supposed to be the leg.
I was kind of surprised by that. That's dirty what he did behind the head like that. Boy, did that kid have an arm.
I told him the leg.
A gun for an arm, for Christ's sake, a bazooka.
She stepped backwards into it.
It's a headhunter thing.
Kid knew what he was doing.
I'm sure he got it from
The
Mike.
sound, the crack, it was...
Everybody thought that the sound, you know,
Was the head.
but it was the helmet.
Full ear flap helmet, thank God.
Got the helmet is all nothing.
The sound, though.
Part of the game.
I should have
No apologizing.
For a couple of seconds, there was dead silence.
Nobody even moved.
Like a movie, no sound, not a sound.
Then the ump leaned down.
The coaches just rushed out there.
Nobody saw the other kid, what he was doing.
The ump lifted her head.
She was
He
fine.
ran out of the dugout, the other kid, right to the mound.
That fucking camera guy moved in so close.
He took off the helmet, the umpire.
Tackled him, tackled Paulie to the ground, the other kid
The
did.
mother came onto the field.
Joe shoved the camera guy out of the way.
Nobody saw the other fight happening. It was Mark, Megan's kid, Mark.
The mother pulled Michaela to her feet.
Didn't even give her a second.
And he's beating the crap out of Paulie.
And I swear to God,
Kid on his own team.
she was looking at the TV camera, the mother.
Then we saw a bunch of kids on Patrick's team heading to the mound.
And he's killing him. I mean, this 9-year-old kid is cleaning Paulie's clock.
I went to Michaela. I didn't check on Paulie.
Part of the game.
The kids tried to pull Mark off of
Oh,
Polly.
like a pit bull, that's what he was like. A pit bull that grabs hold and doesn't let go.
So when the other team sees this, they run out to the mound.
They pull Mark away.
So Paulie, when Mark gets pulled away, well, you know what he did, Paulie, when they called him a faggot? Same deal.
Do you really need to hear all of this?
See, so much was happening at the plate with Michaela.
Nobody was watching. They were all helping the kid who got hit.
Well, Polly broke out of the crowd and went after Mark.
And the equipment, you know, it was all over the place on the ground.
Nobody tried to stop
The
him.
bats.
Mark,
He
he
saw Paulie coming, you know, and he tripped, I think.
fell over the first base bag, and then Polly grabbed. He
The
grabbed
bat.
the aluminum bat. Everybody got out of his way.
One of the dads saw him, Pete Trahan.
Polly plowed through the other kids and kicked Mark to the ground.
And he had the bat.
And Pete was screaming, get it! But nobody knew what the hell he was screaming about.
I knew.
I don't think I can.
He was screaming about the bat.
So now I'm on the field running like Pete.
People tried to get to him, to Mark or Polly. Prissy tried, I know that.
I saw him swing. Polly.
Mark didn't have, you know, a helmet or nothing, just his cap.
The helmet crack on Michaela, the
Oh.
sound, this was worse than that.
I heard it. Yeah, but I wasn't where he was. I was with the girl.
Pete got there first. Too late though.
I saw Pete Trahan pulling Paulie off of some kid. He was kind of rough. I could see. I didn't see the kid.
Pete grabbed the bat from him. It was silver.
The first thing I thought, I'm gonna beat the shit out of Pete.
So you could see the blood on the bat.
It just got crazy. The field was full of parents and kids.
The fucking camera guy was all over the place.
You know who ran away from it all? Just Channel 4 shaking her ass in high heels.
Total mess.
They stopped it at the game.
They had to.
I think 20 people called 911. Everyone had their phones out.
I looked around for my mother. I couldn't find her. I got to Paulie.
Police came. Lots of police, an ambulance.
Almost like immediate, like they knew it was gonna happen.
And he was red in the face, and he's just breathing like fire. And he tried to get away from me. So I grabbed him, and I held onto him tighter than I ever had before in my life.
I looked to where Michaela was. The ump had taken off the helmet. She looked okay. Well, she looked okay.
Frankie had Polly in kind of a, I don't know what you call it, a body lock or something. He was just holding on to him, and Polly was screaming something. I couldn't make it out. There was just too much noise everywhere, and then the sirens.
Oh, I heard what he was yelling. I'm gonna fucking kill that fat little faggot! I'm gonna kill him! I'm gonna kill him! Frankie's just going like, shh. Let me tell you, shushing was not gonna shut that boy up.
Like I said, I just held him. I held him. You know, I just kept
I got out of there. I grabbed Merle, I dragged him to the car, and we came home. It's not supposed to be like this. I want my kids to be tough. Yeah, I said that. But this isn't about being tough. Whatever it is that's going on these days. And I tell you, I really try to think about it, and I think that there's must be something that I can do about it, but what am I gonna do, huh? I tell you what I'm gonna do. Whatever it is, I'm getting my kids the hell away from it. Does that make me a coward? Who gives a shit?
Alright. I told you this. I like a good fight. Yeah, I do. You know that, right? To me, it's entertaining, that's all. It's a show, like, no harm done. But this, when I saw what Polly did to that kid, well, for the first time, you know, I felt I had to, you know, well, I told you what I thought about her before, but after that,
Do I really have to talk about this now? Okay. When I got down onto the field, there were, the people by that time, they were all over the place. And I kind of got lost. I mean, I knew where I was, but I couldn't see where I was going. There were so many kids and cameras, and there was dust because of the dirt on the field. And I just wanted to get to where Mark was, but it wasn't easy. I kept pushing people, and they kept pushing me, and then I see Frankie, and he's holding on to Polly, and Polly is out of control. But you know that already, right? But I mean, at this moment, he's completely out of control. And he saw me, he looked right at me, and Frankie said something to me, I'm not sure what. I know he said my name, I remember that, but I don't know what else he said. But, I remember what Polly said. He saw me, he looked right at me, and he said something about Mark. And I am not going to repeat it. What he said, the word he used, was vile. But you know that already, right? Everybody knows the word he used. So, Frankie drags Polly away from me, and I don't know where they go after that. And then Prissy sees me, and she runs up to me, and she turns into somebody I have never seen before. And she says, come on. And she's holding onto my arm, and she pulls me over to where Mark is. And she's pushing people aside. She pushes more people aside. And then, I see him. And I didn't know what had happened, but, he wasn't moving. I opened my mouth to say something to him, but nothing would come out. I bent down and touched him. And then the EMTs rushed onto the field, and they cleared us all off the field, and they started to do what it is that they do, and they were screaming things at him to wake up, to talk. Oh, my baby.
What What do you mean, how did I feel? Christ, they were gonna put my son in handcuffs. I was still holding him, and this cop came over to us, and he's got his cuffs out. And I looked at him, and I said, "Are you shitting me?" And he said, "Oh, it's procedure, or something." But then this older cop, a guy I recognized from the parish, he came over, and he just puts his hands up to the young cop, and he says, no, we're not doing that. So they don't handcuff him, they don't put him in the back of their cruiser, and they just let Paulie come home with me. So, yesterday, we had to bring him to the courthouse for arraignment. We brought him, me and Cheryl. Ma wanted to come, but like I was gonna let that happen. The judge wanted a plea. A plea? Like, what are we pleading? It happened in front of 50 people. My lawyer talked to the judge, and the judge then said that if we plead guilty, we'd have to come back in a month for sentencing. Sentencing, for Christ's sake. I mean, God knows what Megan and her husband will do. Whatever it is, I wouldn't blame them.
Oh, I know what you're thinking. Well, let me just tell you, that isn't what he meant. Antonio, when he said be a man's man, that isn't what he meant, what Paulie done. Paulie got mad, that's all. It's the temper runs in the family. So, he got it that day, and it got to him, that's all. Sorry about that. And that's not an apology type I'm sorry, neither. No, just sorry that it happened. Antonio never would have done nothing like that. All he ever did was say boo. I told you that, right? Him and his boo. Oh, he was a big talker. Yeah, I know. But all he ever was boo. That's all he ever meant to tell Paulie. Just be the guy that says boo, huh?
I loved my father. I mean, I don't want you to think that, that I didn't love him. When we were growing up, my sisters and my brother and me, he treated us great, but it was tough. He had 4 kids. Job barely paid him enough to keep food on the table. But, they figured it out, and Ma helped too. She would work part-time, working the counter at the variety store down the corner. We had a good kid life. I think he was a little tougher on me than he was with the others. I wasn't as hard as he was. I am, what? I don't know. Not soft, but, well, yeah, soft. Soft-spoken. Soft-tempered. Him and me, we didn't hit it off when I grew up. I got older. I grew up from being a kid. When I got drafted by the Pirates, I thought that I might be winning them back, but they let me go, and that was that. What did he want from me? What did my father want from me? I went to school, I went to college, I got drafted by a major league team. And when that went away, I got myself a good job. I met Cheryl. I gave him 3 grandkids. What did he want from me? Sorry. Listen to me. Sorry. To hell with him! Look what he did to Paulie, huh? God. Look what Paulie did to that little boy! And I know why my father did it. He thought that I was soft. And he was trying to get back at me. Oh, there you go, Dad. You did it. You win! You fuck.
Paulie got mad. Frankie tries talking to him, but Polly won't give him the time of day. That makes Frankie sad. He don't say it does, but it does. He's bringing him to court in a couple of weeks. He's gonna be sentenced. A 12-year-old. They're sentencing him. I'm praying that they don't take him away. Every night I pray, please God, let him stay home. I think he learned his lesson. Just be the guy that says boo. I just heard the news about the boy. The little boy. I'm sorry.
So, this is the hard part. I'll just say it here, so you'll have it, and that'll be it, okay? Michaela is okay. She's a very tough kid, and she'd have to be given her. I'll leave it at that. She is fine. Mark is going to survive. He suffered a severe concussion at least. The doctors say it's too early to know what the long-term effects are going to be. He doesn't draw things now. Megan brings him colored pencils and paper and leaves him alone just to see if, but he doesn't touch them. Right now, all he seems to want to do is sit in the room with the television on. It doesn't seem to matter what's on the screen, but he wants it on, Megan says. He hasn't spoken since then. And the doctors say there's nothing physical preventing him from speaking. He just doesn't. Right now, the only person he really responds to, and you're not gonna believe this, is Ray. Yes, Prissy's Ray. Prissy told him the whole thing, and he ran over to Megan's, and he sits with Mark every afternoon before he has to go to the bank. Megan says that when he shows up, Mark smiles for a split second, and then, well, they watch TV together. I asked Prissy why Ray did that, and she said, well, that's what he knows how to do. I guess that makes perfect sense. Megan's called me a few times. She says Mark Sr. won't discuss the matter. Everybody wondered if there'd be a lawsuit, but he refused to pursue it. The damage has been done. Let the police handle it, is all he says, according to Megan. It may be that they just don't want to put Mark through it all again. Any kind of trial. But anyway, that's it. That's the end of the story. Kids listen. And when they grow up, if you haven't taught them to think for themselves, they remember what you said to them. And that's who they are. Megan gave me this sketch that Mark made, Mark Jr. She said she couldn't keep it, but she wanted me to have it. I'll hold on to it. I know she'll want it back someday. It's her. It's a picture of her sitting on the patio reading. There's a little poem on the back. He was 8, she said. This is my mama reading a book. There's nothing inside it she will overlook. If it's something she wants me to learn, to be right, she'll tell me at bedtime and kiss me goodnight. Kids, listen.